Hello there, and welcome. Yesterday I read to you from Richard Bradford's beautiful novel, Red Sky at Morning, a novel that occupies a very special place in my heart because it's set in New Mexico, and I love this state. I also love that description, and in fact, whenever I taught that book, the kids really responded to it too. It's funny, but it's also beautifully constructed. And that's what I want to use as my suggestion for you in a writing exercise. I want you to write about something, an incident. Now, I usually say a poem, an essay, or a memoir or a story, but I just think you should try to write about an incident. And of course, this incident was fantastic because it was so horrible. And I think a horrible incident will lend itself to this technique a little better than a pleasant incident, but still, either one probably would work. What he does here is he does an inversion. He sets up the moment, and it helps to have three people involved because they kind of carry the energy of this incident. And so it's a very direct, straightforward description up until the moment of crisis. And how he does this is he signals before it happens that he failed and that he fell into the horse. And he doesn't describe what it's like to fall into the horse in great detail. He gives two specific details that are very effective, and they're not what you expect. He spends a lot of the early part of the description saying it stunk very badly, but in his description of actually falling into the horse, he describes two things in specific detail. One, that it sounded like an orange being squeezed, which is such a specific noise we almost hear it in our minds. And two, that his hand went through the skin of the horse. And then the very next moment, he's telling Steenie and Marcia that they don't need to help him walk anymore, okay? So he doesn't actually describe his vomiting at all. Now, I have to tell you, I find this really funny, but it's not because he leaves out describing the vomiting. There's other funny stories where I've it's strange, where I've been amused by somebody vomiting and the way it's described, and every time it has a unique sort of quality, even though we've all done it, we understand what's involved in it. But what really works about his description of this incident, and the reason that it works sort of super efficiently, is because he flips or inverts that order. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to describe an incident. Try using three people or three characters in it, and when the incident happens, invert it. Signal what happens before it happens, and then when it happens, only give two really specific details. Now, when you first write it, you may want to actually write out 7 or 8 or 10 specific details, and then strip away the ones that are not as specific and unique. And when you do that, you'll get, I think, a wonderful effect that you can use in larger work. But this little challenge assignment may surprise you in the way it makes you think about how you construct what you're telling. Because what he's doing here is actually from an old oral tradition, storyteller tradition, rather than a writer tradition. And so I think it's a good thing to try to see if maybe your instinct is there in that inverted description. Good luck with it. That's all we have for today, and I hope you have a glorious rest of the day. I hope you also see me soon, you gorgeous people.